Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful story coming out of Glen Hazel in Johannesburg, a moment that could signal a turning point in South African politics. In a striking and bold move, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, held a recruitment drive in Ward 72, a traditionally suburban and middle-class area, in an effort to break new ground and challenge the public's perceptions of the party. At the center of this event was something that caught the attention of many, the presence of Joshua Zimmerman, a white member of the EFF, standing proudly in his red party regalia, shoulder to shoulder with his black comrades. Under the iconic red banners of the EFF, Zimmerman and fellow members delivered a message of unity, inclusivity, and radical transformation, a vision that seeks to bridge the long-standing divides of race, class, and socio-economic status that continue to shape post-apartheid South Africa. This recruitment drive wasn't just about numbers. It was about optics, messaging, and the long-term future of the party. By choosing to campaign in Glen Hazel, the EFF made it clear they are not content with merely being a protest movement or appealing only to historically marginalized communities. They are setting their sights on broadening their base, appealing to suburban voters, and expanding into territories traditionally dominated by other political forces, especially the Democratic Alliance, DA, and the African National Congress, ANC. Now, let's talk about what made this event so significant. Joshua Zimmerman's presence in this space challenged deeply entrenched narratives, not just about the EFF, but about race and political identity in South Africa more broadly. The image of a white man donning red and passionately advocating for land reform, wealth redistribution, and radical change was not just unusual, it was disruptive. It symbolized the EFF's message that their fight is not against any race, but against inequality and economic injustice. And that's important. Because for years, critics have painted the EFF as a party driven by racial nationalism, often pointing to its fiery rhetoric and uncompromising stance on land expropriation. But what happened in Glen Hazel is part of a broader strategy by the EFF to reposition itself as a truly national movement, one that welcomes all South Africans who are willing to confront the injustices of the past and build a radically different future. The recruitment event featured spirited speeches, chants of "Long live the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, long live," and a genuine sense of unity among attendees. The admiration for Malema was palpable. For supporters, he remains not just a political leader, but a symbol of resistance, someone who speaks truth to power, challenges corruption, and gives voice to those who have long felt ignored by the establishment. But while this show of unity and diversity may be inspiring to many, it doesn't come without challenges. The EFF's radical rhetoric and revolutionary policies, such as nationalizing banks and land without compensation, often alienate suburban voters who may sympathize with the cause but fear the economic implications. Winning over these voters means the EFF will need more than symbolic gestures. They need to engage in real dialogue, offer pragmatic policy solutions, and prove that they can govern effectively, not just protest loudly. Let's not forget the broader political context here. South Africa is currently in a precarious state. Unemployment remains staggeringly high, especially among the youth. Crime and corruption continue to plague communities. Infrastructure is crumbling, and many feel let down by the promises of the post-apartheid government. It's in this vacuum of disillusionment that parties like the EFF see opportunity. They are capitalizing on frustration and presenting themselves as the only force willing to upend the status quo. But expanding into suburban wards comes with political risk. These are spaces where the EFF has historically struggled to gain a foothold. Winning over middle-class voters requires a careful balancing act between revolutionary ideals and realistic governance strategies. If the EFF is truly committed to growing beyond its traditional base, it must show that it can represent all South Africans, urban and rural, black and white, rich and poor. This move by the EFF in Glen Hazel also puts pressure on the ruling ANC and the DA. The ANC, despite its recent by-election victories, is increasingly viewed as out of touch, mired in internal conflicts, and weighed down by its record of service delivery failures. Meanwhile, the DA continues to struggle with perceptions of racial insensitivity and its failure to resonate with black voters on a national scale. The EFF's push into new territory is a direct challenge to both parties, a message that no constituency can be taken for granted. What makes this story even more compelling is how it touches on the evolving nature of South African democracy. As we approach the 2026 general elections, the political landscape is shifting. Citizens are more politically aware, more vocal, and more demanding. There's a growing hunger for leadership that is honest, bold, and inclusive. The days of relying on liberation credentials or racial identity alone to secure votes are fading. People want results. They want change. So, what does the Glen Hazel event tell us about the future of the EFF? It tells us that the party is willing to adapt, to take risks, and to confront difficult questions. It also tells us that the vision of a truly inclusive, revolutionary party is possible, but it won't come easy. It requires humility, listening, and a willingness to meet people where they are, not just where the party wants them to be. Joshua Zimmerman and the members of the EFF who stood with him in Glen Hazel may have sparked a small moment, but its implications are much larger. If the EFF can continue to build bridges, grow across racial and class lines, and prove that its policies can deliver real change, it could very well reshape South African politics for a generation to come. So what do you think? Can the EFF truly become a party for all South Africans? Is this drive for inclusivity a genuine transformation or just clever political theater? And will suburban voters buy into the EFF's message of radical economic transformation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and of course, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that matter most in South African politics. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.